Hey Rockstars, welcome to the channel. It's Monday, April 7th, 2025. I didn't want to do this video, but I feel like I have a responsibility to the community. We're going to talk about the new round of the President Donald Trump's tariffs worldwide. Of course, if you've been living under a rock, you don't know what I'm talking about. Weeks and weeks ago, Donald Trump announced tariffs. Ever since, over the last couple of weeks and month or two, new rounds of tariffs, retaliatory tariffs from us, from other countries, have been hitting all over the world, and it has had a huge effect back here in the United States. And as of over this weekend and last week, a new round of tariffs have been announced. Donald Trump going after a ton of countries. And let me preface this video by saying, I'm not going to input my politics into this. I don't care. And I don't care about your politics, quite frankly, who you voted for either way. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of this from both sides. And this is going to be the pros and cons of how it affects the reselling world, business, small business owners, entrepreneurs, all kinds of things of that nature, all the way down to the individual consumer, everyday buyer. So stay with me on this. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, but have an open mind while you listen to this, because there's good and bad on both sides of this. So let's jump into it. Our good friend Ina Steiner over at E-Commerce Bytes, the blog, since 1999. She's been in business 26 years. I'll link her below. She did a great write-up of this. And let me tell you about the points that are made here, because this is fantastic, and these are things that you should think about. So the marketplace sellers were on a thread on the eBay discussion boards, and they were talking about this, which is linked in this story that I'm going to put down below for you. Some said that it could be positive, that tariffs could be positive if you're somebody who buys inventory ahead of time. Let's say you're somebody who imports your goods from China or India or wherever you get your merchandise from, Hong Kong, maybe from Korea, one of those countries over in Southeast Asia potentially. If you're somebody who can buy inventory and stack it up for a while and buy it at the low price you either have been buying it at in anticipation of these tariffs, or you buy it right now and get it in here before the prices start going up, then you're somebody who could benefit from this, because you will be able to buy all this stuff cheap and your competition will have to pay more for it down the road if you can stock up enough. There are people who said they have shipping containers, multiple storage units. So that's one positive. I could see that. Now, a lot of my audience doesn't buy goods from overseas. You guys buy stuff from thrift stores or Goodwill, Salvation Armies. You buy stuff from garage sales, from storage auctions. This is also good, because a lot of people are not going to want to buy brand new merchandise that may originate in China or Hong Kong or Korea or wherever. They may want to transition over to buying used merchandise. This could very well bring in a ton more used buyers for people that sell used goods, like me, like you, like a lot of my audience that's watching this video. If you're somebody who sells on eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, it very well could turn into more buyers seeing your stuff because they don't want to go pay those higher tariffed shipping prices and higher tariffed buy prices from items that are Chinese or etc. Second great point for a positive of tariffs, at least from our end, right? Now, on the flip side, of course, if you want to buy stuff that's brand new, if you're somebody who's watching me who ultimately shops brand new, imports from China, it's going to cost you more money. But if you're somebody who's thrifty and buys used all the time, or your wardrobe comes from thrift stores and secondhand and whatnot and eBay, this could benefit you as well, because you'll be able to find a lot more stuff and a lot more sellers, and you'll pay cheaper prices than if you buy it brand new. Although we normally pay cheaper prices because we're thrifters and we're frugal, right? Hands up? Okay. Anyways, so that's some positives that can come of it. Another seller who was talking on the marketplace said, those that sell used goods, for the sellers that resell ordinary commercial goods, the tariffs could also be a good thing, because people will consider secondhand. And that's what we just talked about, right? However, some resellers feared people would have less money to spend. So recessions and bear markets are never good for anybody. People will be hoarding their cash. Layoffs could soon increase, which is possible. One wrote, while another said, I believe many of the buyers are either old or retired, so I think the tariffs will impact my sales greatly. In addition, many of the items I offer are not a necessity, which are the first things that people cut back on. So this is a negative of tariffs. If people have less money, the stock market goes down, their 401ks go down, bank accounts, potential layoffs, things of that nature. That could absolutely impact the amount of frugal or the amount of splurge spending that people do, or the discretionary spending, and they want to hoard their money. They don't want to spend any more money than they have to. Another great point. So that would be on the negative side of tariffs. And that happens even without tariffs. That happens when things are negative, when we've had a down economy. We've all seen it where people just aren't spending the kind of money that they normally would spend. Another person on that thread asked, can you explain why you think Americans will do more antiquing than they do now when they'll have whatever lesser amount of available spending money after the price of virtually everything else they need to buy goes up? So right, if the grocery prices go up, if the price of cars go up, or the price of buying a new phone goes up, or a computer from China, or an iPad that you need for your business or for schoolwork or whatever goes up, and you spend an extra $100 or an extra $50, you'll have less money to go on eBay and buy an antique or a collectible or something, something cool that you want to buy. Maybe you're into collectible, trading cards. You're not going to be spending money on that stuff because you don't have the extra money, right? Rich people will always have money to spend, so there'll always be buyers of some kind and some sort. But what we're saying is the everyday buyer will go down. So here's another one where somebody says, look for buying opportunities. When people are low on money, when things go down, people tend to sell stuff at a desperation level because they need to get rid of it. So when things are down, you always want to buy. It's the stock market 101. It's real estate 101, right? Like if somebody is desperate to get their product out of their hands and get money back for it and recoup capital and put money in the bank, they're willing to take a lot less than they would normally take. So something to be on the lookout for. Long-term buying opportunities. Inventory you can stock up now at $1 a unit, and when the prices go back up and they're worth $20 a unit, you'll get to make money. They suggest looking for higher value items, find deals, and wait until the market is primed to sell them. When there is fear, there's desperations. Items being sold beyond or below market value. Buy. The seller said they are looking for vintage guitars. He said he sells these and he's trolling for the holy grails. Obviously, he's looking for people that are going to need money. They want to get rid of their guitars. They don't have to have a guitar unless they're a musician, which then they're not going to be getting rid of their guitar, right? Another seller saw different opportunities. If the price of an alternator for a car or a compressor for an air conditioner goes up, I bet there's somebody right on eBay that can supply that part, either used or working OEM or refurbished right here in the United States. The seller's advice is find a need and fill it. Your real question should be, how is this going to affect my neighbors, and how can I make things easier for them? Can I supply that at a profit? He's got a great point. If you go online and you need to buy a part from overseas for your overseas car, maybe you're driving, something that comes from Japan or something that comes from Korea or China, you're driving a Honda Civic or a Toyota, something that's not American made, and you got to get that part overseas, and all of a sudden it's going to be more money. It's going to be cheaper for you to go to eBay. It's going to be cheaper for you to go to a junkyard. It's going to be cheaper for you to find somebody that refurbishes them or works on them right here in America. So those are opportunities. Obviously something to think about, right? So here's one that some people mentioned weren't really talked about. One topic not well covered is what would sellers do if or when the prices of office, packing, and shipping supplies go up? Bubble wrap, bubble mailers, poly mailers. A lot of those things, originate overseas. They're not made here in America, although some of it is recycled goods. So I would venture to say you can look for those recycled goods. American Bubble Boy is a great option, located here in the United States, works with a lot of recycled materials. Highly recommend it. His prices should not be affected by these tariffs. I can't speak for him. Joe's a great guy, great company. I highly recommend them. Could it go up? It could, but he does a lot with recycled stuff right here in the United States. So I highly, highly recommend you check out American Bubble Boy for your bubble needs, bubble wrap, bubble packers, all sorts of stuff. As far as poly bags and bubble mailers go, again, there's companies that recycle them, companies that do it right here in the United States, something that you should look out for during tariffs. Always a good idea to buy from home. If the price here might be a little higher than overseas, now the overseas price is going to jump over it, so now you can buy here in America. Great point. The other good point that they make is to buy plenty of material to last you 6 months, 9 months, a year. I know not everybody's in a position to do that, but if you can, do it. I just bought 6 rolls of bubble wrap. We go through like a roll a month, so that's 6 months of bubble wrap. I have boxes of bubble and poly mailers downstairs. I'm about to make an order for a bunch of supplies. I'll get them in at the price they are now. Even if they're a few pennies more, that's fine. At least I know they won't jack up in price in a couple of months. So sellers were also buzzing about the tariffs over on Amazon. One raised an issue unique to the marketplace like Amazon on capping prices. Of course, what is this going to do to the new prices? Well, that's something you'll have to watch for on your platforms. If the price of something goes up drastically and you're way down here, you don't want to be undercut. I'm not saying be greedy and jack your prices up too. We don't want to do that. But at the same time, you got to pay attention to where you are according to the market. And if you're spending more on your product, you obviously have to adjust that price and sadly pass it along to the buyer, because you don't want to absorb that as a seller, right? If your price on your cost of goods is normally $5 an item and it goes up to $7 an item or $8 an item, and you're selling those items for $25 or $30, you're going to have to bump it up to $30 to $35, right? You're going to have to add in that extra $4 or $5 that the price of the cost of goods is costing you. That's just the way it goes, right? So there's another issue. So here's the last issue that it covers, and Ina did a fantastic job putting all of this in there. Again, I'll link it below so you can check it out. Another issue that sellers may have to deal with is a potential rise in returns. Fulfillment consultant Matthew Hertz of Third Person said in a recent newsletter he suspects return fraud will skyrocket as the price of new products rise. For example, a person may purchase a new pair of sneakers while claiming their 12-month worn sneakers as a return. Need to catch up on the tariffs. There's all kinds of information, of course, but he's right. So Matthew makes a great point. People are going to spend money. They're going to have buyer's remorse, need to get their money back. They might buy stuff a month or two from now, or in a month or two from now, realize that they spent money they shouldn't have been spending. Their bills are down. They might get laid off. They might start processing returns to try to find money from anywhere that they can. That's not a sky is falling, be worried about it, but it certainly happens, and it's something to watch out for, because I've seen it, you've seen it, we've all seen people who buy something in a month or two from now, darn well they just need their money back. They just want their money back. They can't afford it, whatever the case is, and they do whatever they can to try to file a return. Also, people say 30-day returns. You can charge back a credit card up to 6 months. I promise you, you can do that. I've seen it. We just had somebody on our Shopify store, not anything that I was selling, but a Shopify store that I'm in business with somebody who had one of his products there that filed a claim a year later. And the bank opened the claim. The bank did it for them. They opened the claim, and thankfully my partner was protected and he's going to get to keep the money. It was $300. It wasn't cheap. And the bank institution sided with the buyer. And so as far as I know, they're getting their money back and Shopify's eating it, or the bank is eating it. I'm not sure which, but we're not eating it, but they are. So pretty crazy a year later, right? 6 months is typically the cutoff, 180 days. So these are all really great points to think about, is the cost of what your products are to get to you. Get as much as you can. Shipping supplies, get them in as much as you possibly can. But also know that this may cause people to buy used goods more, which is super positive for us. It could bring new people into that marketplace to be a buyer. All these things are great things to think about. So let me know. Again, I don't want to get political. I'm just presenting the facts to you. There's good and bad that come with tariffs. There's short-term and long-term plays on this. Obviously, and I hope, fingers crossed, our president has a long-term plan. I wouldn't imagine he would do this without one. So the long-term plan is that countries will start caving to the demands, that America gets paid fair prices for products, that we pay fair prices for them, that people pay their fair share when they're importing into us and when they're importing from us. It's just, a part of the game. Global economy and being a part of that is important for every country, especially us, because those countries need a lot of what we get and provide, and we need a lot of what they have and what they provide. So we have to work together. Everybody's got to figure out something that is, workable for all of us to be good, so that we don't lose our savings and lose our money, so that we can afford products and groceries and goods. But at the same time, we can't just roll over and die for other people in other countries too, right? Like, we have to think about ourselves at the same time of balancing what's going on in the world. So that's sort of my little input to it. As I read this, I'm looking at the news breaking now here on Monday, April 7th in the middle of the afternoon, and it looks like almost 50 countries have agreed to drop retaliatory tariffs and to agree to the terms that Donald Trump has put in front of them. China is not one of them yet. They're going to hold tough because they are the big dog. But a lot of the other countries have already stopped any threats towards us. I'm reading it live as we are, and they are doing exactly what we want them to do in order to save us money long term. So that's good news. Hopefully things start turning around in the next, 7 to 14 days. I'll update you as they can. No politics. If you want to leave it in the comment section, feel free, but this is just me giving you the facts straightforward without imprinting my 2 cents into it. So hopefully short term, I know it might be rough and it sucks, but hopefully long term it works out for us. As always, thanks for watching the videos. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. If you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, come back and watch future videos. I'll have content for you all week long. We have some great videos coming out the rest of this week, April 7th through the 14th. And also check out the description box before you head out. There's some amazing links. We have List Perfectly, the greatest cross-listing platform in the world. they will get your inventory onto other platforms as quick as you can blink, and they are affordable and worth every penny. My Reseller Genie, if you want to track all of your tax income, all of your sales, your profits, your expenses, they'll help you do it all year long. Go check out their link below as well and use the discount codes that are included in the description box. And my listing service, as always, if you need help getting your listings up, that's below as well. And I thank you again for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.